Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm Tahir Dhinsa and you're watching SDTV. Technology is something that has always made the difference. Just imagine that the stone tools, granite tools with which the Egyptian civilization had been carving all those pyramids could have been replaced by the bronze or iron. What could have been the results? There would be a little genocide and the forced labor of Israelis and all. History totally along the Nile would have been different. Then invention of wheel eliminated few of the distances and the beast of burden and all. Then if you can hold water and start irrigation, that has an effect. So technology has always been something which has changed the course of human civilization, human thinking and everything. And any development in contemporary world or in the contemporary time has been called critical technology. What is that critical technology? We have just seen in 2 wars in a month's time, one between India and Pakistan. It's the critical technology that brought the result. A 7-time bigger army and all, the nation was thrown down and the results are very evident. Then again, in Iran and Israel, precision, hitting in Tel Aviv, they have hit their refinery, their port at Haifa, Ben Gurion airport. They have also hit with a great precision and drones. So what is the role of critical technology in this world? And when we come to the critical technology, obviously, Western technology had been there for decades, but China comes to our mind. What role the critical technology can play and how this is going to shape the world and what the future world has, what are the promises we have today? Instead that I should tell you, try to find it out. We have asked an expert in the area to say something on that. We have today with us Nabeela Jaffar. You are a research analyst and heading a program on China in Institute of Regional Studies. Nabeela, very warm welcome.
Thank you.
Say something on which I've just said and we'll rumble on further question answers.
Okay, so today we are discussing technology. Technology used to be, has been used in historically, through different ways and means. As you said that historically there were different tools which were used to make effectiveness in the history. But if we talk about the 21st century, in 21st century, the whole definition of technology has been changed. Why this definition has been changed? It is because of the unprecedented advancement in information and telecommunication technology, ICT. Yeah, ICT is now is a driving force behind technology. And when I'm talking about technology, then I'm talking about not only focusing on defense technology, but the overall technologies which have been used in multiple domains, in the domain of economy, in the domain of politics, in the domain of information, and in the domain of obviously then military and defense. Then we also see the dynamics of global politics, which are changing parallel with these changes and advancements in technologies. And previously, we had seen instances of global power shifts, which were driven by mostly by economic ascendance, different ideologies in the world. In the post-World War II, we witnessed a scenario in which there was contestation between capitalism and communism. And these were ideologies, and yes, but the advancement in technology was going on and it was evolving simultaneously. But previously, even the competition between powers were centered on different other elements of power. And one of them was obviously technology, that was nuclear technology those days.
Right.
Because nuclear technology had already changed the global powers during the Second World War. So that technology became a center for both powers, the two blocks. The acquisition became important for many other countries as well. But their competition was mostly focused on nuclear technology. But the good thing about nuclear technology was that it was not diffused in that way, the way now we have seen the diffusion of technologies which are driven by ICT.
Right.
So that is why there was also it was also easier for both powers to manage their conflict and also to manage their competition over nuclear technology, because they had realized that there are certain limits on which both powers should be agreed, that it should not be diffused to to other countries around the world. So it was easier to manage that conflict between two powers. But nowadays, the situation after ICTs, the diffusion of information technology and its integration into many other domains, has made competition, power dynamics more complex, and obviously the dynamics of conflict more complex. Yes, more complex and complicated.
How would you compare China with the Western Bloc as when we come to the critical technologies? Because it has been discussed right now as the wars are going on.
Yes, there are the perspective on China's technological ascendance. If we talk about statistics, if we talk about facts, then there are sometimes there is exaggeration in the media. Are some opponents of China, they do make exaggeration over China's advancement. But if we look at facts, then there are certain technologies in which China is already leading.
Right.
But there are other technologies in which China is still making strides to lead. The technologies in which China is already leading is electric vehicles, EVs. Solar batteries and solar and lithium batteries, solar plates. You can, when you consolidate it, you can say that China is now leading in green technology. And China is also making great strides in biotechnology. And in AI, China is much ahead, but has not surpassed USA and some other Western countries. China is still working on it. But in AI research patents, China is now leading in the world.
What about this cyber and all that, which is now talk of the town, especially on the defense after May 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, for 5 days?
So according to my research, how I categorized critical technologies, I have categorized 5 main technologies as critical technologies.
Right.
And the top one is space technology.
Space technology.
Yes.
Right.
Space technology, and then cyberspace technology, and then AI, 5G. And 5G, or you can say that new generation internet.
Right.
And then quantum computing. These are 5 critical technologies which are mostly interlinked, interconnected. And these are why we call them critical. They are critical because they have interlinked and interconnected and reinforcing capabilities.
All right. They support each other.
Yes.
And where is China? I mean, in these
China
5, if you compare it with the West and the US and all that.
Yeah, China has become peer to Russia and USA in space technology. In recent years, China has made great achievements, especially in space technology. China has, in 2020 and 2021, China was the country which sent more satellites to the space than any other country. And very recently, China sent another mission to space. Previously, there were only two countries which were involved in the exploration of space, which were Russia and USA. But now China has also joined the club.
And China is close.
Yeah, and China is very close. Yeah.
Do you think it's true somewhere, or it's close to the truth, that this war between India and Pakistan was a bonanza of technology? And Pakistan had some edge as far as the India is concerned, on India.
Yeah, I think the credit goes to both technology and the operational capability.
Right.
I would not say that it was only technology that played a role. It was the operational capability and strategic use of information as well. That was the
adaptability.
Yeah, and operability. Yeah, these were the reasons which gave some edge. I don't call it edge as well, but it gave a defensive capability to Pakistan against India.
How would you comment on this war going on between Israel and Iran? Because, Jordan and other countries in between, and Iran doesn't have air defense, and also the Air Force can come refuel. But they don't have Air Force. Their missiles, they're throwing it, their arrows hitting with pinpoint accuracy. I mean, it's amazing. They have hit their oil refinery in Haifa, Ben Gurion Airport, their power station, headquarters of the Mossad. It's amazing.
So, yes, as I earlier said, that this integration of information technology into military and defense technology, this is changing the dynamics of battlefields.
Right.
Precision-made missiles, precision-led missiles are doing their work. The job which
doing well
could not do because Iran does not have air force. So they are sending these. These are also because of the capabilities in the information domain that these countries have achieved over the years. And when I was doing research, actually my interest is more in presenting the power of global information infrastructure.
Right.
It is all about information infrastructure. When I talk about information infrastructure, then I talk both about, I focus both on hardware and software, and the strategies through which the information is used. So the countries which have gained independent capabilities in information technologies and in the infrastructure of information technologies, they have developed their weapons according to their own needs, but they are powered by this information infrastructure as well. That was the case when there was a conflict between Pakistan and India as well. There some people say that Pakistan had some kind of aid from friendly countries through satellite. So that is why,
That's not true.
They could determine their precisions for attacks.
That's not true.
So, see, the information infrastructure which other countries have developed, they also aid their partner countries through their information structures. So Iran is one of the countries which also has their own infrastructure of information, because Iran mostly is not integrated in the larger global information
networks
infrastructure that is led by the West. So these precision-led missiles and drones, they have been used by both countries, and they have their separate capabilities. And
Pakistan has about 80% technology of Chinese origin. I mean, J-10, GF-17, and this PL-15 and CM-400, with which they hit their S-400 missile with GF-17. And now we are talking about the J-35. And so 80% dependence for all that Chinese. How much it is true that some say that they have a capacity where it can be called interoperability or diffusion or something? Indians all the time say that.
Yes, see, when a country is using a technology which has been developed by another country, so it is very obvious that when you are like you're making orders for those technologies and you think that that technology is good for the defense of that country, then you also require to integrate its interoperability with the particular country. So, Chinese technology definitely has its own information domain
Right.
and interoperability capabilities. Pakistan is dependent on it, and it has been proved very successful
Right.
technology. And these technologies are now becoming, getting more credibility because of this conflict in
Yeah,
which they were
the
tested.
stocks of the
Yeah,
Chengdu were,
Because previously we were just, it was a defense partnership. We were the stock, we were piling up the stocks of these technologies, but these were not tested in the battlefield.
no, they have been tested.
Yeah. Now they have been tested, and these technologies show that the success of these technologies show that China has made
Right.
strides. Yeah, and it has been successful now.
What is the future of these technologies as far as the Pakistan is concerned? Globally, it's very understandable that somebody was telling me that they showed their autonomous weapon, the picture of someone who just killed in Iran and just released it. It went through the window, and when this picture, that person came, the autonomous weapons, they can throw and forget it, and they loiter around and all that. So it was unimaginable 2-3 decades ago. In Yugoslavia, somebody was telling me they did that when Slobodan Milosevic and all that during those, but it was unimaginable. So the future, seems of these technologies would be critical. The critical technologies would be critical in defense and everything. What is the future as far as the Pakistan or with China is concerned?
I think after these recent wars, we have witnessed that now countries will need to work on these modern technologies, which are, of course, as you mentioned, this autonomous weapons. Because now wars would not be fought in the battlefields. There will be much lesser loss to soldiers, but
In ICT domain.
in the ICT domains. Yes. So whichever country is powerful in these information technologies in their infrastructure, they will have edge in the battlefield as well. And those countries which are allied with these powerful countries, which have developed their independent capabilities in information technologies in ICTs, those countries will also remain safe. And if they are purchasing those technologies from these developed technology, or they have some co-production with these countries, so they will be able in the future.
Last question. How much it is easy or difficult or required that these defense technologies, when it's acquired, obviously Air Force has acquired it. I don't know, but I'm sure that Navy and the other forces must have also acquired these. How much it is necessary that should be converted for use for the civilian use as well. I have just seen that Air Force is using that drone for agriculture. They go around and they are looking forward to make it public for the benefit of the public. But that's a very small one. What is the scope and how much it is necessary that they should be brought into the civilian use for the betterment of the people and all?
I think countries are not truly thinking on this angle that how these technologies would be used for the civilian purposes. But China is, like I said in the beginning, that China is now leading in green technology. So they are also using some of these critical technologies for their agriculture, and there are some technologies As I mentioned that quantum computing, there is quantum computing. Quantum computing is important for data protection. So these computers would offer opportunities, and these kind of technologies would offer opportunity, but also challenges. So before diffusing all these technologies, before the diffusion of these technologies to every country and all over the world, there is also a need for regulations, and there is also a need for understanding and common grounds between these countries on these technologies.
Right.
Or sometimes their diffusion would also become dangerous if they go into the hands of non-state actors, they go into the hands of irresponsible states. Maybe those would create challenges for every country.
Right.
Yeah.
Bila, thank you very much for sparing so much time for it. It's useful. I think we should do more programming and thought on this topic as the times come.
Thank you so much.
So technology is the name of the game. And obviously there's robots and satellites and all. It was, when we were children, we were very fond of watching a movie every Saturday or every Sunday. And that was called Star Wars, probably. And Nimon Nikoy was a very famous actor. So Star Trek, yes, Star Trek. So, now these Star Trek and all that is actually that happened on my 7th, 8th and 9th and 10th on the border between India and Pakistan. And now as we talk, it is happening in the Middle East. So I think it's one of the good achievement that Pakistan, and probably it is confined only to the military, but ultimately that would be used for the civilian use as well. I'm sure on that, because internet was developed for the moon mission by the US, and now everyone is using it. And I think that Pakistan, in the case of Pakistan, we should not wait that long for the 50 years and all that, with which we come to the end of the program. Bye for now.